What is happening? Today, wow, that was like a weird intro. Anyways, today I thought I'd talk about something that I like to do, and whenever I get the advantage to do it, I'm happy about it, and it's something that I wish I can do all the time, but in my living situation, it's kind of challenging. I have to go, like, I literally have to make a day of it to do what I'm gonna talk about today. It's too much wording in one sentence. Today, we're talking about astrophotography. That's right, baby. I did slide text. Getting fancy with these titles, aren't I? Yeah. All right. So I thought I'd do a quick video about what you need, how to do it, some pros and tips, and the benefit of them. Because I love astrophotography. I love taking it. I love people see doing it. And you don't need anything. You do need things, but it's not going to really make your budget unless you need to buy that lens. But you can really get some good lens on a good price. I feel like I'm rambling on. But you can get a good lens for a good price that pretty much requires it. A few things you need to take into consideration about astrophotography is, first things first, you need a camera. I've done it on APCs in a full frame. It doesn't matter. You just need a camera. That's all you need. Another thing you need is a good lens. Everywhere I read, and I've seen videos of people talk about astrophotography, they all come down to the same thing, that a 35 millimeter lens is ideal. Anything less than that makes it even better. Because 35, it's pretty much it's just depending on the focal length, it'll change the way your photo comes out. Because I'm not going to say don't use an 85 millimeter or 100 millimeter. Unless you're on a viewpoint and there's a killer mountain that's a distance, then I guess it comes in handy. But at the same time, idealistically, the smaller the focal length, the better. Especially if they're a wide angle lens, because you're going to get more in your view. Especially if you're doing a photo of your campsite or a car, or there's something in your subject that you want to capture as well, but also the stars in the background. Another thing you need to take into consideration is aperture. Technically, what I read is that people prefer using anything 2.8 and lower. I've done it on a 3, on an f-stop 3, but preferably, I can't even say, I did vocal warm up today and I can't talk. Preferably, my wide angle lens is a 16 to 35 and it's a 2.8. It's pretty much the ideal lens for doing astrophotography, and the 2.8 comes really good. Another thing to take into consideration is pretty much shutter speed and ISO. When I do astrophotography, I'm always using 30 seconds, and my ISO, if I'm using this lens, and depending on my light situation, it's between 6400 and 2000. Now, granted, I would say trying to change your ISO as much as you can, because I know when I took in photos when I was in Joshua Tree, one location, if I moved it in this way, it was super bright. If I moved it the other way, my lens, if I moved in the other way, it was very dark. So I had to adjust from there. Also, another thing is cars were passing by, so that kind of I had to take in consideration, because some of the people's headlights were very bright, so I had to also drop that down. Another tool you need is a tripod. Of course, that's the one thing you need, because when you're using a slower shutter speed and you're trying to hold it, the image is going to come out blurred. You want a good tripod that's going to hold it, keep it steady, and not move it around. The one I have is from Amazon. I use it, but not so much, especially if I'm in in a campsite area. I need something that's going to pretty much, hold its ground, and, if the wind blows, it's not going to knock it off. But a good tripod can range you from $60 to $100, and then the very high qualities can go into the 200s. But those are the equipment that you would kind of take into consideration. A good focal length lens, so anything between 16 and 35, or I'm sorry, don't ignore me. Anything less than 35. Any of your lenses that's a 2.8 and lower. I've done it on a 3 and on a 4, and they still come out good. I just had to adjust my ISO to make it brighter to get more of the image, because you're pretty much closing your aperture blades tighter, or condensing, or is that, no, I don't. Let's just say 2.8 and less is idealistically. And another thing you need to take into consideration is your location. Because like I said, when I was talking about Joshua Tree, great place. I've seen people do a lot of Milky Way photos, but the challenge part is that because where it's at, you have Indio in one direction and another city in another direction. So it is surrounded by cities, so the lights kind of blow out they kind of illuminate the sky. So it makes it challenging. There's some photos I took when I was in Joshua Tree where it looked like the sun was rising, but in reality, it was just a city that was maybe 50 miles out from Joshua Tree. So when doing astrophotography, make sure you're in an area where it's super dark. I've done it in Yosemite when it's super dark and it looks amazing. I've done it like passing through Arizona. That like I was coming from Prescott Valley, and Prescott Valley, is that Prescott? Someone said it's Prescott. So my friend, shout out to her. She said it's pronounced Prescott. So all my Arizonians, correct me if I'm wrong. But in Prescott Valley, there's like a national park, and then you can pull to the side, and you literally just you look up and it's just stars. So taking consideration of where you're at. If you're closer to a city, you're gonna have issues because of the city lights. And so look for the desert areas, look for the mountains, look for the trees. And like I said, that's why, as if I could, I would be doing this every day. But because I live in Vista, this is like in San Diego County, I have to drive a little bit far out for it. But other than that, it's really good. I love astrophotography. When you start taking photos, do trial error with the ISO, because, like I said, depending on your lens and depending on how wide you have your aperture open, it's going to come out different. I took photos where I used maybe like the lowest was like 1500 ISO, and it was at 30 seconds, and my lens was at 16, and my aperture was at 2.8. And it was just because there was also a full moon to take into consideration, so it was illuminating the entire night. So it's all trial and error. Astrophotography is not point and shoot and then you're done. It's literally taking multiple photos at different exposures at different speeds and seeing what you can get. Oh, another thing. Get either a trigger remote, which is something you connect to your camera. You can find them on Amazon for like $40. If you have a Sony camera, you can download the Smart Remote application. They have an app called Imaging Edge Mobile, where you can do pretty much a smart remote. That's how I do all my astrophotography and how I do my self-portraits. Other than, I think that's about it. The next video, we're going to talk about pretty much how I edit them. There's different ways you can edit it, but kind of idealistically, the basics of it, you can go further in by like adjusting whatever you want. But I just wanted to make a quick video about astrophotography. There is more to it. There's more in depth. But I feel like, hey, you want something quick, sturdy, and something to go to. But here it is. This is it. But yes, next video this is kind of like a two-parter. This next video is pretty much how I edit my astrophotography photos, the ones I take in. I think my thumbnail actually might be one of the photos I took. And I'll show you how I edit that, because it's one of my favorite ones, because it has my car, it has killer stars, and it has one of my closest friends in it. So it's like 3 of the things I ever need. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think I'm going to take a nap. That's idealistically a good idea. Or I might read. I've been reading the Odyssey again. I don't know why. I just thought, I was like, hey, I'm going to reread it. I got 2 weeks off. Might as well. So I'm going to reread the Odyssey. It's a really good book. For some of you who say that's a horrible book, that's fine. But yeah, I hope to see you guys soon. Like and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.